It hurts.
All right, here we're in with the Parrotlet. And if you will notice right there on his digit, he actually has some swelling. That's a little reddened. It's actually quite a little bit painful. Other than that, his respiratory tract looks fine. He's a little excited now because he's flown around the room twice.
Yeah, he's pretty upset. He's pretty
A little
upset.
bit of a feather plucker. Just a little bit. Got some male pattern baldness going on there. But I don't hold it against my dad, so I can't get mad at him.
Okay.
Don't bite, Mom. It's okay.
No, he wasn't biting. He was just trying to pull himself up, and I'm holding him down.
A real sweetheart of a bird. Anyway, we're going to start this guy on some antibiotics, and these pictures are just so we can get a good reference as to what it looks like this week, and hopefully next week or the week after we'll get to recheck this guy and see how we're doing. If we are not improved, we may have to do a small slice and cut in and get a culture of what's in there. So at this point in time, this is where we're standing. So we have our reference, and this guy's so cute. Yeah, he's still a little dyspneic too.
He's what?
Dyspneic, that means they're having a difficult time breathing. See how fast he's breathing?
Yeah.
Oh, poor little buddy.
I was hoping that was because he was scared, but I've noticed him when he's sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll sneak in a little, and I have to be really quiet because he's very alert even when he's asleep. But he's sleeping with his head all the way down to his feet. When he's sleeping, he looked dead a few times that I thought for sure he was, and then I would see that his tail was moving because he was breathing.
All right. Well, here's the good news. It looks like his toes are slightly improved, not as red or irritated as they were. Unfortunately, they're still a little bit on the swollen side.
Gosh, don't fall over, dude.
He's trying to get his weight off that foot.
Yeah. I think the other foot now is hurting him as much as the other
was. Alright, little buddy. Okay, Mom. What we're going to have to do is catch him up. I'm going to stick a needle in one of those lumps and see if I can get a sample off. Okay, put that under the microscope. We'll see what we're dealing with. Obviously, if we're seeing crystals, we may want to go as far as conic out. The fact that we're on such a strong antibiotic, I expected to see a lot more of an improvement if it were bacterial, but of course it could be non-responsive to the antibiotics that we're using. So chances are I'm just going to get that sample and then we'll look at it with a microscope and see what we're looking at. Okay.
Not in the same place, but for the same company.
Okay.
At times he acts more spunky than others. He never ceases though to jump right up whenever I come in the room.
Well, that's a whole much better word. Clow. Grammar, Dr. Askew. Grammar. Don't ever forget it. All right. It's been one of those days. All right. Our buddy actually has improved from the last visit. Like I was saying earlier, the foot is a little less red than it was. Now that I've actually aspirated that one knuckle, it looks like he's actually walking better on that foot. He'll put that bandage off on his own, by the way. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. But now the other foot's sore. Anyway, the bad news is on the microscope, I actually found some bacteria, some rods. Although they were rare, they were still there. And I did find some fungi. Can add them to this video later on. But anyway, we're going to do a sending off a culture to make sure that this antibiotic is gone. Or if it's not, we'll know which antibiotic to use next. And we're going to start him on some antifungals. And I just gave the first dose, and the buddy's handling it very well. And just part of that same speech, whenever it comes to one of these guys, seeing as how their respiratory tract is so weird and foreign to us, any problem in their mechanical functioning will actually cause them to die very quickly. So I always get worried. I always make the speech as part of our process, and hopefully I'm always wrong. Anyway, so that's this guy for now. Culture should be back hopefully sometime next week, depending on how fast this stuff grows, and we'll see where it goes from there. Okay.
That was over a month ago.
Okay. We've been treating this bird now for a while. As you can notice, we're still dyspneic, meaning that we still have our breathing rather quickly. Our toes seem a little less painful today, although I have not poked on them, and we are actually tweeting. So after several weeks of itraconazole and antifungal, we seem to have improved a little bit. Unfortunately, not enough. So we've gone through 4 quinolones, we've gone through itraconazole. The culture results have come back negative, and nothing makes me more disheartened than that. Having spent all that money for that test and having come back saying, oh, well, we could grow nothing. So next, we're going to try a different round of antibiotics, and we'll see what happens after that. The good news is we have made some improvement. The bad news is our buddy is still too painful to climb and is still dyspneic. So we're going to try a second, or it should be like a 3rd round of treatment at this point in time.
Yeah.
So, all right, case goes on.
About that big. What if I soak that in that antibiotic?
It's usually that's one of the tricks I tell some of my clients to give their birds some medication. So you figured that out ahead of time already. You're
a
genius.
I haven't done it yet.
Oh,
no.
okay.
I was afraid to because I thought, well, that might not be a good idea.
Trick or treat.
I won't be able to tell how much of it he ate and how much of it went in the bottom of the can.
Make some noises. So I've gained 0.6 grams since last week. Yay! And a gain of 0.4 since the beginning of this case. So that's good news. Unfortunately, we still breathing hard. All right. More drugs later.
Shoulder.
Yeah, you have the camera. I'm turning away. I did not give you permission. What? Okay, our Parrotlet's back. I'm going to officially call this guy dyspneic. It seems like no matter what we do, we cannot make this guy breathe any better. So we decided to get really cocky today and try and get some x-rays. And I found a way to make it work. I actually found a small plastic cup that I could place over the x-rays and put him in and then take x-rays of him doing his difficult time breathing. What we found out today is that the air sacs on the right side are very diminished and the ones on the left side look perfectly normal. It's the only abnormality we're finding. Other than that, I think we can even see seeds in his intestine with our x-ray machine, which is pretty ingenious. So we're going to order him off of his meds. His fecal last time had a bunch of yeast in it. This time it's negative. Looks very good. We're going to stop his antibiotics. He seems to have lost 2 grams since the last time we weighed him, but I think he cheated and put his hand on Mama's fingers. I'm just trying to be optimistic. That's just me being optimistic, Mom. So let's take him off his antibiotics for a few, and we'll see how he does. He is walking better, but unfortunately he's not ready to run any marathons yet, so we'll keep an eye on this. This is just one of those patients in one of those cases. It's so frustrating that our buddy is so small. If I get blood work, we're going to exsanguinate him. We're lucky to have gotten the x-rays because I've been putting that off for fear of killing this guy accidentally. But anyway, so far so good. We'll see how this guy responds in about a week or 2. Okay? All right, that's it for now. Okay, this case has been really kind of frustrating in the fact that this guy's so small, we really can't do any blood work. He was so dyspneic, we really couldn't do much more to hold him still or restrain him. Anyway, it's just been kind of nightmarish, but a real sweet bird. Anyway, I came up with an idea to see if I can get some studies of him breathing. So I used the top of my GoPro purchase. The case that goes over the top of the GoPro, it's actually kind of square. Good quality plastic. Anyway, you can actually see in all these x-rays a little square part, and that's actually what the bird was under. So I can actually move it from one x-ray to the next and try to get him breathing in different phases of inspiration and expiration. In doing so, he found out that his left side, all air sacs seem to be mildly occluded. There's probably a 50% difference between the left side and the right side. As these x-rays are filtering by, you'll be able to see a difference. It really is, I mean, for a bird that small, it's got to be a minuscule amount of space, but at the same time, it looks like it's the cause of our dyspnea. Until we get this guy healthier, or maybe it's just scar tissue from before, we won't be able to get a sample. But the good news is we're actually able to narrow it down to something functional. The question is, what's causing that functional decrease in the air sac space on the left side? So anyway, enjoy the x-rays. I'll enjoy the patient. Life is good or getting better, and at least we're having a better understanding of this particular case. All right, later.